What if I told you that you can use ChatGPT to find Pinterest content ideas that are already showing signs of demand? And no, I'm not talking about asking ChatGPT a simple command that says, give me 20 Pinterest ideas for my food blog. That's not the trick, guys. The trick is to first find what Pinterest itself is telling us is taking off and then use ChatGPT to turn that trend data into content ideas. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So guys, the first thing that I want you to do is head over to Pinterest Trends. If you're a food blogger, this is an absolute gold mine. And even if you're into another niche, the same principle can work because Pinterest Trends gives you a window into what people are increasingly searching for and engaging with. Guys, if you're into another niche, don't worry. I will show you exactly how to figure things out in a moment. But for now, let's focus on trends in Spotlight. So guys, once you land on Pinterest Trends, look for this section called Trends in Spotlight. And this is where things get interesting. Pinterest is basically showing us some of the topics that are currently gaining popularity. For example, in my screen right here, we have brie cheese recipes, puff pastry tarts, basil dressings, crockpot soup recipes, apple cider baked goods, and you'll notice that Pinterest is showing the month-over-month growth beside each trend. Now, at the first glance, you might make a very obvious mistake. You might look at brie cheese recipe and say it's up by 2000% month over month and immediately say, that's the one, I'm going to create a bunch of brie cheese recipes. But I wouldn't do that immediately, guys. And this is where the smart part of the strategy comes in. Guys, the biggest percentage isn't necessarily the trend I want to jump on. What I'm really interested in is which trend is moving upwards, because there's a huge difference between a topic that has already exploded and a topic that is still climbing. Think about it this way. If somebody tells you that a stock has already gone up massively, that doesn't automatically mean it's the best opportunity. But if you can identify something that is starting to move and continues moving upward, that's much more interesting. The same basic principle can be applied to the Pinterest content. We don't just want to know what is popular, we want to know what is becoming more popular. That distinction is incredibly important. So guys, let's take a quick look at these trends a little more carefully. Pinterest is showing us these little graphs on the right hand side. Those graphs gives us an indication of what's happening over time. And this is where I want you to slow down. Don't simply sort your brain by 2000% means good, 1000% means second best, 400% means third best. That's not how I would approach this. Instead, I'm looking for the direction of the trend. Is it climbing? Is it flattening? Has it already peaked? Is it beginning to fall? Because if I can find something that's still moving upward, I may have an opportunity to create content before the trend reaches its peak. And that's where we can potentially ride the wave instead of chasing it after everybody else has already jumped on. So guys, for this example, I'm going to click on crockpot soup recipes. Now look at what Pinterest is showing us. Pinterest says this trend is up by 90% month over month. At first, 90% doesn't sound nearly as exciting as 2000%. But look at the actual graph. This is the important part, guys. You can see that the trend has been relatively low, and then toward the end of the graph, it starts making a very sharp move upwards. And that's what catches my attention. This is not just a topic that Pinterest says it's popular, guys. We are seeing evidence that interest is accelerating. And that's exactly the type of trend I want to investigate further. Now, Pinterest gives us another incredibly useful piece of information, guys. It shows us the searches people commonly make around this trend. And look at some of these. Easy crockpot soup recipes, soup crockpot recipes, crockpot chicken soup recipes, crockpot soup and stews, crockpot soup recipes healthy, and on we go. And this is where I'm thinking, okay, Pinterest is giving me the trend and it's also giving me the clues about the search behavior surrounding that trend. Now I could sit here and manually brainstorm about 20 or 30 article ideas. But why would I do that? This is where I'm going to bring ChatGPT into the process, guys. So here's the little trick, guys. I'm going to take a screenshot of this Pinterest trends page, not just the name of the trend, but the entire screenshot of the trends page. I'm taking the screenshot because I want ChatGPT to see the actual trend information. It can see the trend name, the percentage growth, the trend graph, the related searches, and the context Pinterest is giving us. Now I'm going to take that screenshot and I'm going to bring it directly into ChatGPT. And this is where things get really interesting, guys. Instead of asking ChatGPT for random content ideas, I'm giving it real Pinterest trends data first. Now ChatGPT has something concrete to work with. And from this screenshot, I can ask it to analyze the trend and give me content ideas that are aligned with what Pinterest is currently showing us. Now, let's see what ChatGPT can actually do with this screenshot. Now, once you've uploaded the screenshot, don't ask ChatGPT to guess what's trending. Instead, Ask ChatGPT to analyze the trend screenshot. Here's the prompt which I am using, and if you want the prompt, you can pause this video and screenshot it. So the prompt says, analyze this Pinterest trend screenshot based on the rising trend and related searches. Give me 10 specific SEO-friendly content ideas I could create now to capitalize on this trend. Prioritize ideas with strong Pinterest potential and avoid generic suggestions. Now ChatGPT will go ahead and analyze the data, provide its input, and give a clear direction. Give it some time to get back with the analysis, guys. Look at what ChatGPT just did. I did not ask it to randomly brainstorm soup recipes. I gave it actual Pinterest trend data and it broke that trend down into content opportunities. It identified the main trend, the related searches, the long tail angles, and even suggested which ideas I should prioritize first. But here's the part I really like. We don't have to stop at one article, guys. We can take this one Pinterest trend and turn it into an entire content cluster. For example, we could have one big crockpot soup roundup, then create separate articles around easy crockpot soups, chicken soups, healthy soups, creamy soups, freezer-friendly soups, soups and stews, and so on. And now we have gone from soup is trending to here are 6 or 7 specific content opportunities that I can build around a trend that Pinterest is already showing signs of growth in. That's a completely different way of doing content research, guys. And remember, ChatGPT isn't deciding what's trending here. Pinterest is. We are simply taking Pinterest data and using ChatGPT to turn that data into a content plan. That's the real trick. Guys, if you remember at the start of the video, I told you that if you're in a completely different niche, don't worry, as there is a way to figure out hot topics if your niche does not appear in the trend spotlight. Here's how you do it. Instead of looking at the trends Pinterest is showing us here, click search trends on the top left hand side. Now you'll get a much bigger picture of what's happening on Pinterest, guys. If you're into food blogging, select food and drinks. If you're into DIY and crafts, select DIY and crafts. Whatever your niche is, choose the interest that is closest to your content. Now, here's another important step, guys. I'm currently doing this in August, so I'm going to set my end date to October. Why? Because I don't want to know only what's hot right now. I want to know what Pinterest users are likely to be searching for 2 months from now. That's where the real opportunity is, guys. Once I've selected my interest and date range, I'll hit export at the top and download the data. And now we have something much more powerful than a few trending topics on Pinterest page. We have a whole data set, guys. So I take that downloaded file, upload it to ChatGPT and give this prompt. Guys, this is a detailed prompt that I gave to ChatGPT. If you want this prompt, take a screenshot of it so you can use it later. And now ChatGPT has a job that it's actually very good at. It's not guessing what people might like. We are giving it Pinterest's own trend data and asking it to find the opportunities hiding inside that data. And this is how you can take this same strategy and apply it to almost any Pinterest niche. And just like that, ChatGPT gave me all its analysis. But I would not stop here, guys. Before I spend hours writing the article, I want to validate the opportunity. So I'll take one of these ideas that says pumpkin painting ideas and then head over to Pintrendo. I'll enter that query and run the search. What I'm looking here for is, does Pintrendo also show evidence that there is such demand around this topic? If it does, that's another strong angle, guys. And when I see that query has demand and related opportunities around it, now I know I can potentially build not just one article, but an entire cluster around that topic. That's the workflow I want you to remember, guys. Pinterest trends, export the data, ChatGPT analysis, Pintrendo validation, content cluster. We are not guessing what to write, guys. We are using Pinterest data to find the wave, validate the wave, and then create content before that wave reaches its peak. Guys, if you have liked this video, please hit the subscribe button and the like button too, so that it encourages me to keep going. That will be all for today. See you at the other side.